Hi everyone, my name is Anastasia, and today I am here to talk to you about one of my most favorite things in the whole wide world, dinosaurs. In this video, I will be focusing on one of my favorite types of dinosaurs and a very special fossil of said dinosaur in particular. So, my favorite type of dinosaur is the Allosaurus. Now, the Allosaurus was a large bipedal dinosaur that had a huge skull that was balanced by a long and heavy tail. And it looked kind of like this. So, as you can see, it was bipedal, it walked on two legs, it had this long tail balancing its body, and kind of like a T-Rex, it had two short arms, but instead of two little claws, it had three. Now, something else very interesting about the Allosaurus that kind of sets them apart from other dinosaurs were these crests above its eyes. Now, depending on how dark and how red the crests were, that determined how old and mature that specific Allosaurus was. So a 5-year-old Allosaurus would have darker red crests than a 1-year-old Allosaurus, for example. The Allosaurus was a carnivore that lived in the late Jurassic period, and it was the top dog in the Jurassic ecosystem, basically meaning that it was the T-Rex of its time. Now, the Allosaurus was able to have this title because the T-Rex lived in the Cretaceous period, which came after the Jurassic period. So the Allosaurus and the T-Rex never lived together in the same time period. The Allosaurus was an active predator of large animals like Diplodocus and Stegosaurus. Now, all of these fossils were all found together at the same time and in the same habitat and location, which led paleontologists to conclude that the Allosaurus did in fact prey on animals like the Diplodocus and the Stegosaurus. The average Allosaurus was about 5 meters tall and 12 meters in length. It weighed about 1.4 tons, and its top speed was 33.8 kilometers per hour. The estimated maximum bite force of an Allosaurus was about 3,500 newtons, which is less than that of both alligators and leopards. Now, the special fossil that I mentioned earlier is one by the name of Big Al. Now, Big Al is the best preserved Allosaurus fossil that has ever been found. It is an almost complete skeleton, and it is said that 95% of the skeleton was actually found and excavated, and only 5% had to be created in the labs to make it a full skeleton. Big Al was found near Shell in Wyoming in 1991, and what is so interesting about his skeleton is that there were certain indications of very serious injuries on the skeleton, and through looking at these injuries and going back in time, so to speak, paleontologists were able to conclude that Al died at a very young age due to these massive injuries. So one of these injuries was an infection on one of his toes. It was in the middle, toe of one of his feet. And the other injuries that they found in Big Al's skeleton were just a bunch of broken ribs. So I hope you enjoyed this little dinosaur lecture. Thanks for joining me.